This is the Goode Show. I'm Surinder, a proud military spouse of 26 years. My guy retired as a Command Master Chief after serving 30 years as a Navy SEAL. I'm also a mom, an entrepreneur, and an advocate for the military community. Here at the Goode Show, we delve into the inspiring lives of military spouses. From navigating deployments to building thriving businesses, we're here to empower, educate, and connect. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's get into it. Because the Goode Show is where your story matters. Welcome to this week's episode. My name's Surinder. I am your host, and this is the Goode Show. And today we are on location in a gorgeous little store in Old Town. And I'm very privileged to be sitting here with Kemi, and I can never pronounce your last name. Pavlocak.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Kemi Pavlocak from Savage Beaches. Kemi is a veteran of 21 years, retired as a lieutenant commander. And I've always said that people that serve continue to serve afterwards as well, just like your good self. And now you've got this great little place.
Thank you.
I know, I love it. It's located, first of all, we're going to tell you where it is. It's in Old Town, and it's right opposite, and I'm going to take a swatch, Fiesta de Rey. So you have to come in here and say hello to Kemi. How long have you been doing Savage Beaches?
So, Savage Beaches unofficially has been about 7 years. You know, that's
7
how long
years.
I've been beekeeping, right?
Okay.
But we've moved from the East County, high desert of San Diego County,
Yeah.
to here, San Diego, in the past about a year and a half.
How did you get into honey? I mean,
So it was a transition.
Yeah.
You know, I started off with farming, growing avocados, citrus, moved into conservation and agriculture, regenerative agriculture. And then, my background is in engineering, right? Systems engineering. And I'm really big onto like input and output and balance.
yes.
And
Yeah.
preservation, conservation, and then I moved into pollination. And,
wow.
And so and the bees kind of basically took over.
But tell me, Kemi, did you just like eating honey? Is that why you thought, I'm going to do something with honey? I mean, how did the honey come about?
So the honey didn't come, the honey wasn't the primary focus. The focus was to find a balance. Like if you have a garden or you have an orchard, you want to make sure the soil is healthy. And then when you have the trees growing, you want to make sure you have the right environment for it to produce fruit, And part of it is understanding how pollination. And the simplest thing is if you don't have them, you bring them in. And honeybees is your most portable way of getting pollination for a lot of your fruit-bearing plants and trees. And so that's how I started off with the bees. And then the honey was like the byproduct, right?
Okay.
And then the honey was a way to afford as it started as a very expensive hobby. You know? And so it was actually my husband's like, oh, they need to start, paying their dues.
Yeah.
And then the honey just kind of took over. And then from there, I started learning through the bees, through the honeybees, I started learning a little more about my environment by observing how they're impacted and how they impact the environment around them.
Your background, where were you born?
So I was born in Nigeria. I came when I was 4 years old to
Okay.
Brooklyn.
Okay.
Brooklyn, New York.
Because here's me thinking, as you are talking about pollination, agriculture, good soil.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
I didn't grow up rural.
Okay, I'm thinking
Yeah.
you grew up rural.
No, I did
Brooklyn
not
is
grow
not
up
rural.
Nope, it's not rural at all. Right? No, I am definitely a New Yorker. But yeah, I joined and I became a CB first, construction electrician.
Okay.
So I was that for like half my career.
Okay.
And then I converted to officer and I became an engineering duty officer.
I have a very, very soft spot for the CBs.
Oh yeah?
A very soft spot.
They're an interesting group.
Listen, I did an exercise when I had my coffee business on base. There was an exercise up north, Pendleton Way, and they were going to be up there for a period of time. And so they asked me if I'd bring my location up, put it in MWR in their little tent, kind of thing. And I had no idea what these guys were doing.
Yeah.
And I just remember one day, somebody took me out to the beach. And I looked at the water and I thought, cool. They took me out the next day and these CBs had built a bridge. It totally blew my mind. I swear to God, I was like, oh my God. And a real bridge. And then the other thing is, I had a couple of CBs and I've got to give him a shout out. Chief Daniel Kane. built my man cave for my husband while
Oh,
he was on a
really?
deployment. Yeah,
Nice.
and they did a kick-ass job.
Yes.
It blows my mind how you can
Supposed to
make
go in
things.
there and then just make it work, build
Yeah.
it, make it work. Yes.
So, did you use your background in the military and the fact that engineering systems to put the process together to
Yes,
actually
yes.
make honey?
Yes, it definitely helped. Is that I call it technical, maybe some mechanical, and just visualizing. And even both, it came into just putting together the orchard and then just understanding where to place the hives or how to build out. Definitely a lot of development,
Okay.
and that definitely played a part into it.
What do you think was your biggest challenge while you decided, okay, like your husband had said, okay, we got to make some money, so you start doing the honey. What was the biggest challenge you came across?
So my business path it's very different because, like I said, Savage Beach has been around for a while, but we did a detour because we started out in the high desert, and we saw that in the high desert there is a need for food, and there was a town, and the town had a store that shut down, and so we did a detour where we focused on building up this town store. So I still had my hives, I still was building up that, but then we kind of jumped right into food retail. And that was a challenge. And for a New Yorker, it kind of made me see, you have one side of poverty in New York,
Yeah.
then you have the rural side of poverty. And that had to have been the biggest challenge, was understanding the economics and then the cultural impact.
Yes.
Right? It takes both. It takes both. And we kind of jumped in just only thinking about the economic. Like, you put up a store, you put stuff on the shelves,
Yeah.
you price it, all this stuff. But there was a lot more to it. And I don't regret it. We no longer have the store.
Yeah.
We still have the property there because I still have a lot of my hives there. But it made me learn a lot of lessons.
Now, I do remember where you had mentioned before, and I love this about the story, that you wanted to put a bodega there, you know, because every corner in Brooklyn.
I can't imagine, not having a little store, get snacks, get little food items. And this place, people would drive over like 20 minutes in either direction just to get milk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the store, you went from the store.
Yeah.
And then now you're over here at Old Town.
Yes.
I mean, and you've got your own store. Well, you share it with beautiful Sean Bowie.
Yes.
But how did you get the store then? How did you move it into here?
So that's the aspect of where, a lot of times, you get into a path and in which it has a lot of challenges. So the high desert was difficult, but it was through that I met so many amazing people. And through our store in the high desert, we met Jenny. And Jenny, she has a bead shop right around the corner. She's in the same building as us, Lost Cities Bees, amazing store. And it was her the one who told us about this location that it was empty for a while, and she thought it would be great for us to move in here. So it's through our contacts. Is always be kind to people. You never know.
Absolutely. And the great thing that you've done here, which I think is incredibly smart, you and Sean Bowie have split the store. You've got your products in here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such an incredibly smart way to do it, and especially since both complement the other.
Oh yes. When we first had the store, it was because we basically took everything we had in the high desert and we brought it here. So we had all our honey, and then we had, because we also did like outdoors, outdoor gear, to try and tweak it and figure out what would work. And slowly we phased out the outdoor, and then that's when Sean came in and said, hey, I would love to have some kind of forward facing for the customers. And that's when she said, I would love to put a kiosk in here. So that's how she brought her kiosk, because we've known each other before.
I was going to say,
and so it was we met, and Sean too, she's been through a lot running a business. It's just crazy how business takes you. You just got to be flexible and go with the the highs and the lows, and it's been going great so far. And yes, her sweets definitely complement the store and adds to my weight gain.
Mine too, sister. It was funny about Sean Bowie is, and I don't know if I told you last time, I walked into my living room, KUSI News was on, there's a gal talking about a business, and I'm just listening to him. My husband walks in, and he went, I know her, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, sure you do. He went, she worked with me, you know. So I connected with her within 10 minutes. I picked up the phone and I went, you're going to think I'm strange, but this is the deal. And my husband said, he knows you. And she's like, oh my gosh, I know
Yeah.
him. So,
Navy community.
yeah, a very, very small world. But when she had told me that she was here and she was sharing with you, I just thought, what a fantastic way to build a business together.
Yes.
Now, as I went to your site, the other thing that I noticed is you are certified as a veteran, a disabled veteran.
Yes.
How did you get those certifications?
So the state, actually through the state, the California Department, even the transportation one, they have it where you could go through the certification. And also through the small business district as well, the SBA, they also have programs as well, and they have people there that can help you go through the process, and you submit forms. Definitely not something you should do on your own.
Yeah.
There are many programs out there to help you and for people to actually help you fill out the forms and submit it, and then they'll go and call you, do an interview, figure out what it is.
How did you know that you should get your business certified as a veteran or disabled veteran? Because sometimes people don't know that if
you are completely right. And I'm trying to go back a bit on it because when you are in a business, especially one in which you provide some form of service or product, you want to see where can you find your biggest customer, right? And the government is the biggest customer out there, and so they're always advertising on, hey, if you want to be a contractor, if you want to, then it'll help for you to have these kind of certifications. So it's through that research, and that's something which, as a small business, that's one of the things you want to know is who would be your best customer, or where do you think your goods could fit. And so even though I didn't think mine fit as necessarily for as a government contracting, I just thought it was something just to have in case.
Oh no, I think was it a long process, and do you pay for it?
No, you don't pay for it.
Okay.
That's something people should know, because I've seen people try to take advantage of people not understanding. No, it's not something. It doesn't take long if you find the right help. So definitely start with your SBA district offices, and from there they will lead you into the best way to get it.
Having that certification, what does it do for the business?
Let me see. So it depends on how you promote it, right? On some levels, like with a lot of contracting, I don't know if I want to use the word because it's pretty political right now, but it kind of helps you have a better look, for if you have certain services or goods and there is an opening, a need for it, and the government, whether it's a state or federal, put it out there, and you submit it and you put down I am a veteran-owned business, or I am a disabled veteran. It gives you they give you points. A little bit of an edge. Yeah, it gives you an edge, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I do think you bring a certain experience to the table that others don't have.
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing with all things, diversity of thought and experience. And so that's what it does. Now, outside of government, sometimes if you do say, I know a lot of people when they come in, they walk around, but then all of a sudden they catch it, wait a minute, does that say woman veteran owned? Yeah. And then they look at me and they're like, oh, you serve. Then it kind of makes them well, I definitely need the support, So it has two ways about it. Some people really don't care, but others, it's a small community and we want to look out for each other.
I have just spoken with a very good friend of mine that does some tracking in regards to trends and things like that, And one of the big things that has come up on top, and this is why I think you should use it, is that patriotism. I think there is a lot more out there now about the military. I mean, I've spoken to my family abroad who at first had no idea what my husband even did, never even heard of it. God bless my mom. She was like, are there any Indian SEALs? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. I don't think so, But because there's a lot more, people are aware, and especially in San Diego.
Yes.
I think
it's a big
that
community.
you should definitely use it to promote, because everybody that I have come across that I have said myself, hey, it's a military podcast, they're like, oh, military.
Yeah.
It's almost seems to be like, oh, it's military. It's kind of like a little bit, oh.
Yeah, take you a little more seriously.
Yeah. So I definitely think that you should not shy away from from using that. So we're going to let everybody know you are certified
Yes.
as a disabled veteran business. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Now, let's go back to the honey because we've got to taste some at some point. We've got to talk about it.
Okay.
Now, notice you've got your three honeys here. Tell us about this. I want to know about this one in particular.
Yes.
It's avocado.
Avocado. And,
Okay.
and that does take people for a loop because a lot of times people don't understand, the process of honey. And what people know is what they see on their shelves, right?
Yeah.
And what it is how you get honey is the pollen and the nectar produced by a flower, right? Produced by a flower. And all your crops, your fruit-bearing trees and plants, they produce pollen and nectar, and that's where the bees, whether it's the native bees or our honeybees, that's what they collect. Okay. And so for avocado, it does bloom. It blooms, and then the honeybees collect the nectar and the pollen from it, and that's how we get the honey. It is a unique one because it is sensitive to our rain patterns. Whereas then people so wait a minute, how do you know they only went to the avocado? Do you have a trace on it? That's a good question. Yeah. And what it is, it's timing. It's timing and area. So we have our hives in avocado grove, and we know that around this time, say from a late spring to before fall, the trees are blooming, right? They're blooming. And so we know when we need to collect it, right? And then we look at the area. Okay. Now, what the difficulty we've been having with avocado is that our the climate has been changing a bit, and the rain patterns have been a bit funky. So a lot of times we've been getting a lot of other blooms that usually doesn't occur at the same time but are occurring, and the bees really aren't that crazy about avocado blooms, so they will go somewhere else. Oh. So in the past 2 seasons we haven't had avocado because basically we pull it and it's light. When you pull it and then you taste it and then you look at the color, you're like, okay, this is not typical avocado. This is what we would have to call wildflower. We'll just call it wildflower. But this last harvest we were able to get avocado collected, and it's dark. It's like a rich molasses type taste.
Listen, I'm gonna buy this one. Okay? So I've got to open it and I've got to try it.
You got to try it.
Because I've been sitting here looking at all of this honey, and now I'm thinking I gotta have something sweet. So, see, I know I should have got this open. I wasn't gonna open it though. I was just gonna talk about it, but now I gotta open it. Okay, can you open it for me, Brian?
We got it sealed up tight.
See, yeah, but it's good that it's sealed up tight.
Yes.
Are we gonna edit this or just keep it in?
We're gonna have to edit.
Really?
We'll be walking in front of the camera.
Oh, look, and now you walk over. Now
here, so let me give you a spoon then.
Sorry, and I should have. Sorry.
No worries. No worries.
So I'm just going to go back to... So going back to your honey, the one that my mouth is watering right now, I have to try the avocado. Okay. So now you said the avocado, you don't get it every season, you said, because sometimes they're not.
Yeah, sometimes, the bees, depending on how the rain pattern is and the climate, we don't get them to pollinate the avocado as well.
Oh my gosh.
It's a rich honey. Yeah, it's a rich honey.
You really, and you can taste.
A little bit like I don't know how to describe it, but I like to describe it as just molasses. It's similar to molasses. It's very sweet.
I like that. I am taking this one. Tell us about the other two that you've got here as well.
So the other two, you got the carrot, and the carrot is just blowing up in popularity now. And so the carrot, same thing as with the avocado, it's the nectar and the pollen. And some people kind of don't realize, a lot of stuff you grow, it comes from bee pollination. And this one comes from a seed farm in Oregon, right? Okay. And when I first tasted, I was like, oh my God, that tastes so good. So now it's a huge tea favorite. Mm-hmm. People who love tea, absolutely love this carrot honey, and you can't really get it anywhere else.
You know something? I tried some of that last time I came in.
Yes.
And it is like the avocado. These are kind of combinations I would never have
You would have
thought.
never
Yeah.
thought. It blows your mind, and
Yeah.
and that's what it is. That's what we're trying to push, so people can understand, how their food comes from. The whole
Yes.
this awareness, the source awareness.
So let me ask you something. The carrot one you said goes good with tea. What about the avocado? I mean,
So the avocado, that one I recommend either for like a smoothie, peanut butter,
Okay.
peanut butter sandwich. I love it on yogurt.
oh, I like that idea.
I love it
Okay.
on
Yeah.
yogurt. So it's one of those where anything deep, it balances out. Now with tea, any tea, it goes with everything. It all
Okay.
depends on your preference.
Yeah.
On how you taste things.
Now, okay, and this is the carrot one.
That's the carrot.
Okay, and this one,
So the cantaloupe.
wow.
So that one, I think what it is when as soon as people like see it, their mouth starts to water, right? And it comes from basically a cantaloupe farm in Central California, and you can taste like the melon in there. And I don't know, I was surprised because we got a few other ones, and this one it's even more popular than our lavender. So it's a unique honey, and you can't find it really anywhere else as well.
It blows my mind, to be honest with you, that honey has come such a long way. I mean, I just thought had the one, I don't know if you'd call it a flavor, but the one taste. And
Yeah, you
that
just
was it.
have it's been engineered that way. You have so your big honey companies, what they do is they basically just collect all the honey and they blend it. They blend it. Sometimes they might add some syrup to it to get like the perfect consumer preference.
Oh, yes, yes.
That's part
Yeah.
of big ag.
Yeah.
It's trying to repeat something the same each time, and that's just not how nature works.
Mm-hmm.
Even our avocado, like I said, our avocado, carrot, even like a few of other ones, each season the taste is subtly different because the world changes.
Oh, yeah.
The climate changes, the soil, everything around it changes.
Does it make it harder for you though?
It does make it a little difficult because then it makes it where we don't always have something, and I'm not gonna fake it,
Yeah.
and so we're trying to tell people that's part of learning how to live with nature, is being happy with what you're given,
That's true.
because so even if we might not have avocado, but let's say we have a different source, a wildflower, and you're like, this is just as good,
Yeah.
You just find something else to do with it, or you enjoy just as much, and that's part of finding balance and trying to maybe correct what big ag has done to all of us.
That is true. Let me ask you, if you had a veteran that came in to see you today and said, "Hey, Kemi, I'm going to be out in 18 months and I'm thinking of starting a business," what advice what would you tell them is, listen, dude, this is the first thing you got to do? What would that first thing be? There's a lot of firsts, really.
It is so many firsts. I do think so. One thing I have noticed though is I do think you should just start it and definitely make sure you find within your local area like business advisors. So the SBA has this awesome program called the STEP program where they provide you advisors,
Okay.
and those are huge help. I know some people like to pay for coaching and all that stuff. Don't do that in the beginning. You are just going to tank your money. There's really valuable free help locally, and then network.
Yeah.
Network. I was awful at it. I like to keep to myself. I prefer to be outside in nature. Being around too many people terrifies me, but you have to do
Yes.
it, right? So seek professional free help, all the free stuff you can get so you're not spending too much of your money, and network.
The thing I like about what you're doing with your networking as well is that, like, for our CPO Spouse Connect event, you gave us a gift card to give, for opportunity drawings, because you do honey tasting.
We do honey tastings here, yes. And we had a few people reserve it where they come in, they basically reserve the whole boutique, right? And then
Okay.
we set up a seating table. We set up like pairing. So it's like cheese, crackers, meats. And then I go through all our honey and the pairings and when it came from, the history and all that stuff with it.
Wow.
Yes.
I think that is, I've never heard of it before, and I hope the recipient, I know she was going on a little bit of travel, but she was very excited about it.
Yes.
So I'll be interested to hear from her how it went for her.
Yes.
The other thing that I've noticed I have to ask you about is this, I don't even know what to call it.
The Bee Hotel.
The Bee Hotel.
The
there
Bee
you go.
Hotel, yes. So this is another thing as part of our sustainability mission. So besides learning about honeybees and the pollination, the big part of it is also our native bees, and that's what a lot of people kind of get confused, you know. So honeybees are not native to here, but they are vital to our food system. Our native bees actually are critical for our ecosystem. They're the ones who provide, you know, genetic diversity and strength. And they are hurting. They're hurting a bit more than our honeybees, and it's something in which normal people can take a part in, you know, to improve, to help their environment. And because honeybees sting, you know, they could be a little dangerous, they could be a little, but your native bees, you know, most of them, I call them single moms. You know, they go in, they lay their eggs only by themselves, and then when their eggs are hatched, and it's gone.
But like, a crazy question, but do they actually go into the bee hotel?
Yes. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to have like workshops or information sessions where people could learn. And which, you place this, you have the right conditions, you watch it, make sure there's water source, and you will have the native bees in your area would come. Like I know this past season, the biggest one that loves my bee hotels are leafcutter bees.
Okay.
They are annoying as hell because they do cut your leaves to make their home, but they're amazing pollinators. So that's the thing with native bees, because they are specialists, whereas honeybees are more generalists. They tend to pollinate 10 times better than a honeybee. So you put this, you take care of it, you have your mason bees, your leafcutter bees move in, and you will watch your garden bloom.
That is crazy that you just mentioned like 4 different types of bees.
Oh, there's so many. San Diego is busting at the seams with so much different ecosystems and variety of native bees.
Let me ask you, Kemi, when you started, you said you started about 7 years ago?
Yes.
Okay. In the next 5 years, when you look at your goals, you know, what are your goals for the next 5 years? Where do you want to take this?
Oh, wow. You know, in the beginning, I wanted to have multiple stores, but man, it's a lot of work, and the overhead could kill you.
Yeah. Employees themselves.
Employees themselves will kill you. So, I guess in the next 5 years, I hope that there will be a lot more homes within San Diego, within California, that would have this, and people be a lot more aware and informed about their food source. I do want Savage Beaches to be the honey brand of San Diego, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too arrogant. You know, there's other people, they're all right, too.
Hey, girlfriend, listen to me. I always say to people, I had the best coffee in the world on base, you know. You've got the best honey I've tasted, you know.
And yes, and I wanted to, when you think Savage Beach, I wanted to not only just include the flavor honey, but also just think of community. Think of community that includes people and our environment.
Yeah. The other thing I've noticed in here, you know, as we talk about the next 5 years, I mean, it's not just honey, is it? You have got, I see on your shelves, you've got soap. I took home a great scrub, which my daughter immediately took. So I got a little bit of it, and there was a mask. So you've got, it's not just honey, you've got the face stuff. And I noticed it was over there, and you've got a bee sanitizer.
Yes. So we are, as the shop is still in transition, and we're trying to kind of test the boundary of people understanding honey just has so many uses. Yeah. The bees, even outside honey, the bees produce so many useful products outside of honey. So you got honey, you got the beeswax, you got propolis, you got all this stuff, and it's just so full of minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, different types of enzymes. And from there, you could produce natural products that people can use. And so, and this is not only what we make, but people can make it themselves as well. And we want to make this into, besides a honey boutique, basically a bee boutique where people come in and get different uses, whether they want to make it themselves or they want to use the products we make.
I love that idea, getting people creative.
Yeah.
And, you know, them making something themselves.
Yeah.
Because I would have made that candle with the finger. That's the first thing I would have made. Kemi, I have to say, listen, I want everybody to know as well, you've been very kind, that anybody that comes up to Old Town, Savage Beaches, you can come in and you can get your free little sample of honey. Look, that guy outside, free sample of honey. So yeah, come on in, mention that you heard about Kemi on the Goode Show, and grab your free sample of honey. And also wander around and look at all the unusual stuff that you've got in there with your candles, your soap, your spoons, and also honeycombs. I'm not well versed in honey, so all I've ever done with honey is poured it into my tea, stirred it, and drank it. So with the honeycomb, do you just eat it? What do you do with it?
Yes. So honeycomb, has becoming more and more popular lately, and especially with kids. I think they're teaching them in class about bees. But a lot of times, some people, they would just eat it by itself, right? But what happens is then you're stuck with the wax. And some people don't care. They kind of chew it like gum and spit it out. But it is edible, right? And what I recommend is you pair it with something like either crispy, crunchy, or fatty and smooth. So that's why a lot of times honeycomb is like a centerpiece for charcuterie, because you have the crackers, you have the cheese, you have the salami. But it could pair with so many other things. You could put it on fried chicken. You could put it in your grilled cheese sandwich. You could put it on some French fries. Ooh. What it is like it's like a texture elevator, right? Instead of I call it a more humane version of caviar, right?
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Right? So for texture pairing, you have the sweetness, and then you have the like the waxy texture, but it could all be eaten together, and you won't have any chunky stuff in your mouth.
People, do they ever ask you how many calories there are?
So, we actually do put nutritional, at least we try to put nutritional values on all of them, so it ranges from about 70 to 90 calories per serving. So this one, it gives you, it's about 11 servings and 11. And so what we are putting in place is to start, how do I put it? Providing a grading system for, besides the calories, but like all your vitamins and minerals, because especially when we start pushing honey is good for you, honey is healthy, or you could do all these things with it. We want to give people numbers so they can compare it to anything else they used before. Like, hey, if you take this honey, it will provide you with so many vitamins or minerals that can help you with your skin, or can help you with your digestive system, can help you with all that. And so we will soon, not for all our honey varieties, but maybe like for instance, the buckwheat, the one that I say grows everywhere here and is really high in antioxidants, and you can use it for everything, for your hair, your skin. We're going to get that tested, and so people can have concrete numbers.
Wow.
And along with pollen as well, because we do sell pollen. A lot of people like to use pollen for their smoothies, for energy. It has protein in it. It also has fiber. And that's really important for people. And so we are going to start having numbers, testing, working with the lab so they can have it there for themselves.
I think that's really good information to have. I'd be interested. I always tell myself that, listen, if it was a good honey, like
you'll be able to take
you'll be able to digest it, and your body will be able to use it because it's natural.
Yes.
Kemi, it has been great having you on the show today.
Thank you.
I have loved trying all of this honey. I don't give a shit if I put weight on. I've enjoyed every single minute of it.
It's good weight.
Yeah, it is. So don't forget, you can come in over at Old Town, see Kemi, pop in, say hello to her, and grab your free little sample of buckwheat honey. Oh, last thing. How do people get in touch with you on social media?
Oh, we are pretty active on Instagram.
Okay.
We're also on YouTube. We are on Facebook as well, TikTok, and Blue Sky.
What is Blue Sky?
It's this new replacement for X.
Okay. You can get Savage Beaches Kemi on her social media. Kemi, I'm going to have a cup of tea and I'm going to put this avocado honey into it.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kemi, thank you so much for your time today. So if you're in Old Town, you've got to come by, say hello to Kemi, and don't forget your free little sample of buckwheat honey. My name's Surinder. I've been your host. This is The Goode Show, and we'll catch you again in 2 weeks.
Thanks for tuning in to The Goode Show. I hope you have been inspired by today's conversation. If you loved what you heard, help us spread the word. Follow me on Instagram @The Goode Show. As military spouses, we all have stories to share, experiences, resources, and support. I want to hear your story and highlight your business. Let's connect, DM me, or visit surindergoode.com to share your journey. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and keep doing good things.